The parking lot smells like gasoline and cold asphalt. 30 Hell's Angels stride toward their motorcycles, leather creaking, boots echoing. They've just finished a tense territorial meeting inside the warehouse, peaceful, but exhausting. A small figure bursts from the shadows. Zara Williams, 10 years old, black, wearing a faded purple hoodie, runs straight into the center of the lot, arms spread wide. "Stop!" her voice cracks. "Don't start your bikes!" Laughter ripples through the crew. One biker, Diesel, barrel-chested, tattooed neck, revs his engine mockingly. The roar is deafening. Zara doesn't run. She throws herself against the lead bike, gripping the handlebars. "Please! They put bombs! I saw them! If you start them, you'll die!" Reaper, 50, scarred, eyes like flint, raises a hand. Every engine cuts to silence. He crouches to her level. "Talk! Fast!" What this 10-year-old girl said next would not only save 30 lives, it would expose a conspiracy that reached the highest levels of power and turn the most feared men in Chicago into her fiercest protectors. 30 minutes earlier. Zara sits in the alley beside the warehouse, knees pulled to her chest, doing math homework under a flickering streetlight. The notebook is worn, pages dog-eared. She uses a pencil stub barely 2 inches long. Her mother, Keisha Williams, is inside the building, 3rd floor, scrubbing floors in an accounting firm. Night shift, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Keisha has 2 other jobs, laundromat during the day, weekend catering when she can get it. Tonight, the neighbor who usually watches Zara had a family emergency. Bringing her daughter to work violates company policy, but leaving a 10-year-old alone in South Chicago at midnight isn't a choice. It's a death sentence. So Zara waits. She's good at waiting, good at being invisible. She hears the engine before she sees the van. A white cargo van, no markings, pulls into the parking lot adjacent to the alley. Zara's instinct, honed by years of living in a neighborhood where you mind your business or you die, tells her to shrink behind the dumpster. 4 men exit. They move like soldiers, efficient, synchronized, silent. Dark clothing, tactical boots. One opens the back of the van, pulls out a large toolbox. Zara's heart hammers. She should look away. She should focus on her homework, but she doesn't. The men fan out across the parking lot where the motorcycles are parked. Zara recognizes the bikes. Hell's Angels insignia, chrome gleaming even in the dim light. She's seen them before, heard the rumors, dangerous men, criminals. The 4 strangers kneel beside the motorcycles. Tools glint, wire cutters, small black boxes, something that beeps softly. Zara's hands shake. She pulls out her phone, a hand-me-down from Keisha's cousin, screen cracked spiderweb style across the top, but it works. She opens the camera, records. The video is shaky, dark, but she zooms in as much as the cheap lens allows. One man's jacket rides up as he bends over a bike's gas tank. Zara's breath catches, clipped to his belt, a police badge. She nearly drops the phone. Why would police? One of the men stands, stretches. He's older, white, buzz cut. He says something to the others. Zara can't hear the words, but she sees his face clearly for 3 seconds as he turns toward the streetlight. She keeps recording. They work for 12 minutes. Then they pack up, climb back into the van, and drive away. No headlights until they're 2 blocks gone. Zara sits frozen, staring at her phone. Her hands won't stop shaking. She opens her email app, the free one that barely works, and sends the video to herself. The upload bar crawls. 10%. 20. The alley is silent except for distant sirens and a dog barking. 50%. Zara stands, legs stiff from crouching. She edges toward the parking lot, phone clutched in her fist. She shouldn't. She knows she shouldn't. But she does. The motorcycles sit in neat rows, chrome and leather and danger. Zara approaches the nearest one, a massive black Harley with a skull decal. She crouches, shines her phone's flashlight under the gas tank. Wires. A small black box with a blinking red light. She doesn't know what C4 looks like, but she knows what a bomb looks like from movies. This looks like a bomb. Her email notification pings. Video sent successfully. Zara stands, backs away. She should go back to the alley. Wait for Mama. Forget this. But then she hears them. Boots on concrete, voices low and rough, the jingle of chains. The bikers returning from their meeting. 30 men, walking toward motorcycles rigged to explode. Zara thinks of Mama, thinks of the pastor at the church they visit on Christmas and Easter, the one who says, "Do unto others." Thinks of her fourth-grade teacher, Ms. Lane, who tells her, "Smart isn't enough, baby. You gotta be brave, too." She thinks of the men who planted the bombs, men with badges, and she runs. Runs straight into the center of the parking lot, throws her arms wide, and screams the words that will change everything. "Don't start your bikes!" The bomb squad arrives in 15 minutes. 3 trucks, flashing lights painting the warehouse walls red and blue. FBI behind them. Military-grade explosives mean federal jurisdiction. Zara sits on the curb, wrapped in an emergency blanket. Keisha kneels beside her, one arm around her daughter, gripping Zara's hand tight. Keisha's eyes are red from crying. A technician emerges from beneath Reaper's Harley, holding a disarmed device in a containment box. He walks to the lead FBI agent, a white woman in her 40s with steel-gray hair. "Confirmed. C4 military grade. Sophisticated timer wired to ignition. If any bike had started, this lot would be a crater." The agent approaches Zara. Her badge reads, Special Agent Carolyn Voss. "Sweetheart, I need to ask questions." Zara nods. "What did you see?" 4 men. White van. No license plate. They put something under the bikes. Took maybe 12 minutes. "Did you see faces?" 1. Oldest. Buzz cut. White. Maybe 50. Voss exchanges a glance with her partner. "Anything else?" Zara hesitates, but she thinks of the blinking red lights. "They had police badges. I saw one when his jacket moved." The silence is heavy. "Are you certain?" "I took a video." Zara pulls out her cracked phone. 20 feet away, Reaper stands with his crew. Diesel leans against a squad car. Preacher stands beside Reaper, watching Zara. He's 50, black, former civil rights lawyer turned biker. "That kid saved our lives," Preacher says quietly. Reaper watches Keisha. The exhaustion in her spine, worn sneakers, hands red from industrial cleaner. "She's got no one." "We owe her." "Yeah." Voss takes Zara's phone. "I need this as evidence. You'll get it back." Zara's face falls. That phone is everything. But she nods. Keisha speaks, voice sharp with exhaustion. "My daughter saved lives tonight. She didn't have to. But we taught her right from wrong. So make sure she gets that phone back. And make sure whoever did this gets caught." Voss meets her eyes. "I will." It's a lie. The phone will disappear by tomorrow, marked lost during transfer. Dawn breaks cold. The bikers are released. News vans circle. A reporter shoves a microphone toward Reaper. "Is it true a child saved your club?" Reaper steps between the camera and Zara. "The kid's been through enough. Someone tried to kill us. They failed. That's all." He walks to Keisha, pulls a card from his wallet. Plain white, just a phone number. "Your daughter saved my crew. I don't forget that. You need anything, call this number." Keisha stares at the card. "We don't need anything from you." "Didn't say you did." But the offer stands. He places it on the curb and walks away. Keisha doesn't pick it up, but she doesn't throw it away. That afternoon, Zara sits on their apartment couch. Sagging cushions, duct tape on the armrest, watches the news. Keisha sleeps, exhausted. The headline crawls, "Biker gang survives bombing. Gang rivalry suspected." The police spokesperson speaks. "We believe this was an internal conflict within organized crime. A child was present but unharmed. No mention of Zara's warning. No mention of her video. No mention she saved anyone." Zara turns off the TV, sits in silence. Roaches in the kitchen, mold on the walls, gunshots 3 blocks away. She opens her notebook. Where she does homework, writes stories. On a blank page, she writes, "They erased me, but I know what I saw." At the warehouse, Reaper stands with his crew. They watch the FBI work, the media swarm. Preacher speaks quietly. "She's gonna need protection. Whoever planted those bombs knows she saw them." "Yeah. So what's the play? We watch, we wait. When they come for her, we're there." Diesel spits. "We're bikers, not babysitters." Reaper turns, looks at him hard. "We're men who'd be dead if not for a 10-year-old girl. That means something." Diesel looks away. "Motion to protect the Williams family," Preacher says. "Who's in?" Hands go up, one by one. Not all, but enough. "Motion carries," Reaper says. They mount their bikes. Engines roar. The sound echoes off the warehouse walls, loud and defiant. Across the city, in an apartment that smells like mold and fear, Zara closes her notebook. She doesn't know that 30 men just voted to protect her. She doesn't know that the war has only just begun. She only knows what she wrote. "They erased me, but I know what I saw." And somewhere in that simple sentence, in that refusal to be silenced, lies the seed of everything that will come next. Lieutenant Owen Castellano sits in an unmarked office 3 miles from the bombing site. The room has no windows, no nameplates. This is where the Chicago Police Department's Special Task Force operates. Off the books, off the record. Castellano is 45, decorated, white, with the kind of face that photographs well at press conferences. He's received 4 commendations for bravery. The mayor shook his hand last year. His daughter plays soccer. His wife teaches 2nd grade. He's also ordered the execution of 3 people in the last 18 months. 4 men sit across from him. The same 4 who planted the bombs. They're out of tactical gear now, dressed in plain clothes. Officer Marcus Trent, the youngest at 32, speaks first. "The bombing failed. The preacher's alive. All of them are." Castellano doesn't blink. "I'm aware. There's a witness. There's a kid. She saw us." Now Castellano looks up. "Define kid." "Maybe 10 years old, black girl. She was hiding in the alley. Must have recorded us because the FBI took her phone." Castellano stands, walks to a filing cabinet, pulls out a folder. Inside are surveillance photos from the scene. He finds Zara, a small girl in a purple hoodie, sitting on a curb, wrapped in a blanket. "Zara Williams," he reads from a preliminary report. 10 years old. Mother is Keisha Williams, works 3 jobs, no father. Lives at 1447 South Racine, apartment 3B. He closes the folder. "We don't go after her directly. We make the family unstable. CPS investigation, eviction proceedings, mother loses jobs. The system does what it does. The girl disappears into foster care. Problem solved." Trent shifts uncomfortably. "What about the phone? The video?" "Already handled. I have people in evidence lockup. By tomorrow, that phone will be lost during transfer." Castellano sits back down. "Gentlemen, we've come too far to let a child derail this. Preacher has body cam footage of the Brooks shooting. If that surfaces, we go to prison for murder. So we eliminate threats. Quietly. Efficiently." Trent nods slowly. The others follow. "What about the angels?" Hayes asks. "Let them look. We're ghosts." Castellano opens another file. "Brooks, Jamal. Inside is a photo of a 16-year-old black kid in a basketball jersey, smiling. This is what happens when people see too much. The room falls silent. I want the Williams family destabilized within 72 hours. Quietly. Just paperwork and pressure. The four men stand and leave. Castellano stays behind, looking at Zara's photo. 10 years old, bright eyes. The kind of kid who probably gets straight A's, helps her mother, dreams of a better life. He feels nothing. He's learned not to. Across town, Detective Sarah Huang sits in her car outside the FBI field office. She's 42, Asian American, 20 years on the force. She just spent an hour trying to retrieve Zara Williams's phone from evidence. It's gone. Not misplaced. Gone. And the clerk who checked it this morning now claims he never saw it. Huang opens her notebook, writes down everything she remembers from her interview with Zara. The description of the men, the badges, the white van. She takes a photo of her notes with her personal phone, emails it to an encrypted account. Then she writes Lieutenant Owen Castellano's name, underlined 3 times. She doesn't have proof yet. But she's been a cop long enough to recognize a cover-up. At the Hells Angels clubhouse, Reaper sits at a scarred wooden table surrounded by his crew. 30 men, leather and denim, tattoos and scars. They're drinking beer, but nobody's laughing. The preacher stands. Someone tried to kill us last night. Professional work. And that little girl saved every one of us. Diesel spits. So what? We send flowers? We owe her, Reaper says quietly. The room goes silent. A kid put herself between us and death. Didn't ask for anything. Just did it because it was right. The preacher adds, she's also the only witness. They'll come for her. Reaper stands. Then we make sure they don't get to her. The clubhouse smells like motor oil, cigarette smoke, and spilled beer. It's not a place for children or polite society. The walls are covered in patches, photos of fallen brothers, and a faded American flag with 13 stars. This is where the Hells Angels make decisions that can't be made in daylight. Reaper stands at the head of the table. 30 men sit or lean against walls, watching him. Some have been with the club for decades. Others are newer, still proving themselves. But they all share one thing: loyalty to the patch on their backs. The kid who saved us is named Zara Williams, Reaper begins. 10 years old. Lives with her mother in a shithole apartment in South Racine. Mother works 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. No father, no family support. They're barely surviving. He pulls out a folder. Inside are photos he had someone take discreetly. Zara walked to school alone. Keisha leaves for work before sunrise. The eviction notice taped to their apartment door. 2 days ago, police raided their apartment. Anonymous tip about drug activity. Found nothing because there was nothing. But the landlord got spooked. Served them eviction papers. 30 days. Diesel leans forward. How do you know this? Because I've been watching. Because whoever planted those bombs knows she saw them. They're erasing her. Quietly. Systematically. The preacher steps up holding a different folder. It gets worse. I made some calls. Keisha Williams was fired from her cleaning job yesterday. Building management got a call from someone claiming she violated safety protocols by bringing her daughter to work. Which she did, but they never cared before. Someone pressured them. The room murmurs. Anger ripples through the crew. Tommy, the club's vice president, speaks up. He's black, 48, with a scar running from his temple to his jaw. So what are we talking about here? Are we playing guardian angels now? We're paying a debt, Reaper says flatly. That girl stood between us and death. She didn't have to. She could have stayed hidden, let us die, gone home safe. But she didn't. And now the system is crushing her for it. The preacher clears his throat. There's something else you need to know. 3 months ago, I witnessed a shooting. Castellano's task force executed a 16-year-old kid named Jamal Brooks, unarmed. Shot him in the back, then planted a gun on him. I have body cam footage. I got it from a rookie cop who couldn't live with what he saw. Castellano doesn't know it exists, but he suspects I have something. That's why he tried to kill me. Kill all of us. The room goes dead silent. Diesel's face darkens. And the girl saw them planting the bombs? Yeah, which makes her a witness to the attempted murder of 30 people. Castellano can't let that stand. He'll bury her, and then he'll come for me. Tommy stands. So what's the play? Reaper looks around the room. We protect her. We keep her family stable. We make sure Castellano knows that if he touches her, he's touching us. And when the time's right, we expose him, publicly, with evidence he can't deny. Diesel crosses his arms. We're not a charity, Reaper. We're a motorcycle club. We got our own problems. Feds breathing down our necks, territory disputes. Now you want us to adopt some kid? I want us to have honor, Reaper snaps. Remember what that word means? That little girl has more honor than half the men I've met in my life. She saved us because it was the right thing to do, not because she wanted something, just because. And if we let the system erase her for that, then we're exactly what they say we are. Criminals, thugs, nothing. He lets the words hang. So I'm calling a vote. Do we protect Zara Williams and her mother, yes or no? The preacher raises his hand. Yes. Tommy studies Reaper for a long moment, then nods. Yes. One by one, hands go up, some quickly, some slowly. When the count is done, 26 vote yes, 4 vote no, including Diesel. Motion carries, Reaper says. Here's how this works. First, we stabilize them financially. I want $5 grand in an envelope delivered anonymously. Covers rent, food, bills, no note, no name, just cash. Tommy nods. I'll handle it. Second, we watch their building, rotating shifts. If Castellano's people come around, we know about it. We don't engage unless we have to, but we're present, visible. Third, preacher says, I'm making copies of the body cam footage, hiding them in multiple locations. If anything happens to me, those copies go public, automatically. Reaper points to a member named Lawton, a former paralegal. You're going to find us the best civil rights attorney in Chicago, someone who's not afraid to go after dirty cops. We'll need them when this goes public. And fourth, Reaper looks at each man in turn. Nobody talks about this outside this room. No girlfriends, no buddies, nobody. Castellano has ears everywhere. One slip and that kid's dead. The room nods in unison. 2 hours later, Keisha Williams returns home from a humiliating day of job hunting. She climbed 4 flights of stairs because the elevator is broken again. Her feet ache. Her eyes burn from exhaustion and the tears she won't let fall in front of Zara. She unlocks the apartment door. Zara is at the kitchen table doing homework by the light of a single lamp. The power bill is overdue. Hey, baby. How was school? Fine, Mama. Zara doesn't look up. She's learned not to ask how the job search went. Keisha sets down her purse and notices something on the floor near the door. An envelope, plain, white, unsealed. She picks it up, opens it. $5,000 in cash, 20s, 50s, hundreds. More money than she's seen in one place in years. There's a small note inside, handwritten. For rent and groceries, from people who owe your daughter. Keisha's hands shake. She sits down hard on the couch. Zara looks up, alarmed. Mama, what's wrong? Keisha doesn't answer. She's staring at the money, crying silently. Zara comes over, sees the cash, sees the note. It's them, isn't it? The bikers. Keisha nods, still unable to speak. Zara sits beside her mother, small and serious. Is it okay to take it? Keisha wipes her eyes. I don't know, baby. I don't know if it's okay, but I know we need it, and I know you saved their lives. Maybe this is just fair." That night, Keisha pays 2 months' rent in advance, buys groceries, real groceries, not just ramen and canned soup. She cries again while putting food in the refrigerator. Zara watches from the doorway, quiet and thoughtful. Later, while her mother sleeps, Zara pulls out her notebook. She writes, "They remembered. They came back. Maybe not all debts get forgotten." She underlines the last sentence twice, then closes the book and tries to believe it. Across town, Reaper sits on his bike outside Zara's building. Engine off, just watching. He sees the light go off in apartment 3B, sees the neighborhood settle into its uneasy nighttime rhythm. His phone buzzes. "Tommy, you really think this is gonna work?" Reaper types back, "Don't know, but it's the right thing to do." He starts his engine and rides into the dark, the rumble echoing off empty streets like a promise he intends to keep. 2 weeks have passed. For the first time in months, Keisha sleeps through the night without waking in panic about bills. The rent is paid, the refrigerator is full, the electricity stays on. Zara returns to school full-time. Her teacher, Ms. Lorna Lane, notices the change immediately. Zara is more focused, raises her hand more often, finishes assignments early. Ms. Lane pulls her aside after class. "You seem lighter, sweetheart. Is everything okay at home?" Zara nods. She doesn't know how to explain that having food changes everything. That not worrying about eviction means she can concentrate on fractions instead of survival. Ms. Lane smiles. "Good. I submitted your application for the Lincoln Magnet School Scholarship Program. You're one of the smartest students I've ever taught. You deserve this." Zara's heart lifts. Magnet School. Advanced classes. A chance. At the Hells Angels clubhouse, the crew settles into routine. Tommy organizes watch shifts, 2 members per night, rotating every 4 hours, positioned around Zara's block. They're not obvious. Just men on motorcycles passing through, stopping for a smoke. But they're watching. Castellano's people notice. A white sedan with tinted windows circles the block twice in 1 week. The driver sees the bikers and leaves both times. Reaper gets the report. "They're testing us." "And?" "We stay." Across town, Lieutenant Castellano sits in his office reviewing reports. The Williams girl is still in her apartment, still going to school. The eviction didn't stick because someone paid rent. He knows who. He picks up his phone. "It's me. The Angels are protecting the girl. Adjust strategy. Contact CPS. Anonymous tips about neglect. If we can't evict them, we take the kid another way." He hangs up, opens a drawer, pulls out a photo. Jamal Brooks, 16 years old. The boy who saw too much. History has a way of repeating itself. In her apartment, Zara works on a social studies project about people who changed history. Most kids choose presidents. Zara writes about Claudette Colvin, a 15-year-old black girl who refused to give up her bus seat 9 months before Rosa Parks. History forgot her, but she did it first. She was brave when no one was watching. Zara underlines the last sentence, thinks about the bombs, the bikers, the cash, about being erased from the news. Maybe bravery doesn't need an audience. Maybe it just needs to be done. The caseworker arrives on a Thursday afternoon. Her name is Diana Ross, which she's learned to announce quickly before people make the joke. She's 42, black, overworked, carrying a caseload of 63 families when department guidelines say 30 is maximum. She doesn't want to be here. But protocol is protocol. She knocks on apartment 3B. Keisha answers, still in her work uniform from the laundromat. Her shift ended 20 minutes ago. She ran home because the school called, said someone from Child Protective Services needed to speak with her. "Ms. Williams, I'm Diana Ross from CPS. May I come in?" Keisha's face goes pale. "What's this about?" "We received reports. I need to do a home visit. Standard procedure." Keisha steps aside. Diana enters, notepad in hand, eyes scanning. The apartment is small, cramped, but clean. No dishes piled in the sink. No garbage overflowing. The furniture is old, patched with duct tape, but not filthy. There's food in the refrigerator. She checks discreetly. Milk, eggs, bread, vegetables, real food. Zara sits at the kitchen table doing homework. She looks up, wary. "Hi, sweetheart. I'm Ms. Ross. Just here to talk to your mom, okay?" Zara nods but doesn't smile. Diana sits on the couch, opens her folder. "Ms. Williams, we've received multiple anonymous reports over the past week. Concerns about your daughter being left unsupervised at night. Concerns about exposure to dangerous individuals. Concerns about unstable housing." Keisha's hands ball into fists. "Who reported this?" "The reports are anonymous, but I have to investigate. Can you tell me about your work schedule?" "I work day shift at Sud's Laundromat, 8 to 4. I'm home by 4:30 every day. Zara's never alone at night." "And before this job?" Keisha hesitates. "I was working nights, cleaning offices. Sometimes I had to bring Zara because I couldn't afford childcare. But that was temporary. I have day work now." Diana writes this down. "And the concern about dangerous individuals. Are there gang members or criminals who have contact with your daughter?" Keisha's jaw tightens. "My daughter saved some people's lives 3 weeks ago. Those people were grateful, that's all. Those people were hell's angels. Those people were human beings who would have died if my daughter hadn't warned them. She didn't ask them for anything. She just did what was right." Diana looks at Zara. "Sweetheart, has anyone ever made you feel unsafe? Anyone who's come to visit?" Zara shakes her head. "No, ma'am." "Have you seen drugs or weapons in your home?" "No, ma'am." Diana closes her folder. She looks at Keisha, and there's sympathy in her eyes. "Ms. Williams, I'm going to be straight with you. This case has flags all over it. Someone wants me to find something wrong here, but I don't see it. Your home is clean, your daughter is healthy, well-fed, doing well in school, you're employed. By every metric that matters, you're doing fine. So we're okay? For now, but the reports are official. I have to keep the case open for 30 days. If there are more incidents, more reports, I'll have to escalate. That could mean temporary removal." Keisha's breath catches. "You'd take my daughter?" "I don't want to. But if the reports keep coming, I won't have a choice." After Diana leaves, Keisha sits on the couch, head in her hands. Zara sits beside her, small and scared. "Mama, what's happening?" "They're trying to take you away from me, baby." "Who?" "I don't know, but they're not going to stop." That night, Keisha calls Reaper's number. He answers on the second ring. "It's Keisha Williams, Zara's mother." "I know, what's wrong?" She tells him about CPS, the anonymous reports, the 30-day window. Reaper listens without interrupting. "They're going to keep coming," she says, voice breaking. "They're going to take her. I can't stop them. I don't have money for lawyers. I don't have connections. I'm just—" "You're not alone," Reaper cuts in. "Not anymore." 2 days later, Zara is called to the principal's office during lunch. She walks down the hallway, stomach tight with dread. Principal Donovan sits behind his desk. He's a white man in his 50s, usually kind. Today he looks uncomfortable. "Zara, sit down." She sits. "There was an incident yesterday, a fight in the cafeteria. You were present." "I wasn't fighting, I was just eating lunch. 2 boys started hitting each other. I moved away." "I know, but you were present, and I've received concerns about your behavior lately." Zara's heart sinks. "What concerns?" Mr. Donovan doesn't meet her eyes. "Association with known criminals, disruptive influence. I've been advised to monitor you closely." "Advised by who?" He doesn't answer. Instead, he writes something in her file. I'm issuing you a written warning for being present during an altercation. It'll go in your permanent record. But I didn't do anything. I'm sorry, Zara. My hands are tied. She leaves the office, hands shaking. In the hallway, she pulls out the cheap replacement phone Keisha bought her, opens her email, checks the sent folder. The video is still there. The one she sent to herself the night of the bombing. She's checked it every day, terrified it will disappear. It's still there. 4 men planting bombs, badges visible, faces clear. She forwards it to 3 more email addresses she creates on the spot. Random usernames, random passwords she writes in her notebook. Then deletes the forwarding history. If they're coming for her, the truth will survive. That evening, Keisha is walking home from work when a police car pulls up beside her. 2 officers step out. 1 white, 1 Latino. The white officer does the talking. "Ma'am, we need you to step to the back of the vehicle." "Why? What did I do?" "Routine check." They search her purse. Find nothing. Then the Latino officer opens the trunk, pulls out an evidence bag, reaches into Keisha's purse while his partner blocks the street view. When he pulls his hand back out, he's holding a small plastic bag of white powder. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for possession of a controlled substance." Keisha's eyes go wide. "That's not mine. You just planted that." "Ma'am, turn around. Hands behind your back." The handcuffs click shut. Cold metal. She's crying now, not from fear, but rage. "My daughter is 10 years old. She's home alone. Please." They put her in the car. She watches through the window as her neighborhood disappears. Thinks of Zara coming home to an empty apartment. Thinks of CPS. Thinks of how easily everything can be taken. At the station, she's booked, fingerprinted, photographed. Bail is set at $10,000. She has $63 in her account. She's allowed 1 phone call. She dials Reaper. "They arrested me. Planted drugs. I need bail." "Where's Zara?" "Home, alone. CPS is going to take her." "No, they're not. I'm on my way." Reaper makes 3 calls. "Tommy, get to the Williams apartment. Stay with Zara. Lawton, post bail, 10 grand cash now. Preacher, it's time. Start reaching out to attorneys. We're going public soon." By the time CPS arrives at Zara's apartment, Tommy is there. 6'3", 240 pounds of leather. He opens the door with Zara standing behind him. Diana Ross looks at Tommy, looks at Zara, looks at her paperwork. "I'm here to place Zara Williams in emergency custody." "On what grounds?" "Mother arrested. The child cannot be left unsupervised." "She's not unsupervised. I'm supervising." Diana looks at the situation. A biker and a 10-year-old and a system clearly being weaponized. She makes a choice. "I need to verify the mother's situation first. I'll be back tomorrow." She leaves. Tommy closes the door, looks at Zara. "You okay, kid?" Zara nods, but her eyes are wet. "Are they going to take me?" "Not if we can help it." That night, Keisha is released on bail. Reaper meets her outside the station. "Thank you," she whispers. "Don't thank me yet. This is just the beginning. They're not going to stop." Keisha looks at him, this scarred, dangerous man who keeps saving her family. "Why are you doing this?" "Because your daughter saved us. Because this is wrong. And I'm tired of winning." The meeting happens in a place no one expects. Not the clubhouse, not a lawyer's office. A church. Mount Zion Baptist sits on the corner of 47th and King Drive, its brick facade weathered but dignified. Pastor Jerome Williams opens the doors at 8 p.m. He's 72, been preaching here for 40 years. When Reaper called asking for a neutral space, the pastor said yes without hesitation. Inside, the pews are empty except for the front 3 rows. Keisha sits with Zara. Reaper, Preacher, and Tommy occupy the row behind them. In the 3rd row, Attorney Jamal Richards, 45, black, in a sharp gray suit. He's a civil rights lawyer who takes cases nobody else will touch. Detective Sarah Huang enters last. She's in plain clothes, no badge visible. She sits at the end of the row, keeping distance. Richards stands. Let's be clear. We're building a case against a decorated police lieutenant and his task force. They've committed attempted murder, evidence tampering, harassment, and false arrest. They're also responsible for killing Jamal Brooks, an unarmed 16-year-old 3 months ago. This is David versus Goliath, except Goliath has guns, badges, and the system. What do we have? Reaper asks. Richards opens his briefcase, pulls out folders. Zara's video of the bombing. 4 men with visible badge numbers planting C4. That's attempted murder 30 times. He slides a folder to Preacher. Body cam footage of the Jamal Brooks shooting. Castellano's voice giving the order. His team planted the weapon. That's first-degree murder and conspiracy. Another folder to Detective Huang. Evidence log showing Zara's phone disappeared within 12 hours. Officer Marcus Trent signed it out. He's one of Castellano's men. Evidence tampering. He looks at Keisha. Arrest records showing cocaine possession. No prior history. Bail set artificially high. False arrest and attempted kidnapping via the foster system. Richards closes his briefcase. Together, these paint a picture of a criminal enterprise under the cover of law enforcement. But here's the problem. Normal channels, this disappears. Castellano has people everywhere. Judges, prosecutors, evidence clerks. We file charges, they get buried. So what do we do? Keisha asks. We go public. Press conference, social media, direct-to-news outlets. Release everything at once. Make it too big to bury. Detective Huang speaks. You do that, you paint targets on yourselves. Castellano won't just discredit you. He'll destroy you. He's already trying, Keisha says quietly. Might as well make it mean something. The Preacher pulls out a USB drive. I've made 5 copies of the body cam footage. Hidden in 5 locations. My ex-wife has one. She doesn't know what's on it, just instructions to release it if something happens to me. The safety deposit box has another. Richards has one, Reaper has one, and I buried one. Richards nods. Good. Redundancy keeps us alive. Detective Huang, are you willing to testify? Huang's jaw tightens. If I testify, my career is over. Yes. Long silence. Then Huang nods. Jamal Brooks was 16. I read the report. Unarmed suspect, shot fleeing. I knew it was wrong. I didn't say anything. I've lived with that for 3 months. So yes, I'll testify. Richards makes a note. We need Nia Brooks, Jamal's mother. She deserves to know what happened, and her testimony will humanize this. I'll reach out, Preacher says. It should come from me. When do we go public? Reaper asks. Richards checks his calendar. Castellano is receiving a Medal of Valor next week. Tuesday, 2 p.m., police headquarters. Press will be there. Politicians, cameras everywhere. We hijacked it. How? Tommy asks. We show up. All of us. Zara presents the evidence. Detective Huang testifies. Nia Brooks speaks. The angels provide security and witness presence. We turn his celebration into his arraignment. They'll arrest us, Keisha says. Maybe. But by then, the evidence will be uploaded everywhere simultaneously. Arrest us. It looks like retaliation. Reaper looks at Zara. Kid, you understand what this means. You'll be on camera. Your face is everywhere. People will know your name. You'll never be invisible again. Zara thinks about Claudette Colvin, about being erased, about the 30 men who would be dead if she'd stayed silent. I don't want to be invisible, she says. I want to be heard. Richard smiles. Then let's make some noise. The meeting breaks up an hour later. Pastor Williams watches them file out, this unlikely coalition. You think they have a chance? his wife asks. David had a sling and a stone. They've got the truth. Sometimes that's enough. Outside, Reaper walks Keisha and Zara to Tommy's truck. The streets are dark, dangerous. But for the first time in weeks, Keisha doesn't feel afraid. Tuesday, she says. We end this Tuesday. Tuesday arrives cold and clear. The kind of Chicago morning where your breath ghosts in the air and the wind cuts through your jacket like a blade. Chicago Police Headquarters is dressed for celebration. Red carpet leading to the entrance. Banners announcing the Medal of Valor ceremony. News vans line the street, satellite dishes pointed skyward. Security checkpoints, metal detectors, uniforms everywhere. Inside the auditorium, 300 people fill the seats. Police officers in dress blues, city council members, the mayor in the front row, reporters with cameras and notebooks. This is the kind of event that makes careers, replayed on evening news with patriotic music and slow-motion flags. Lieutenant Owen Castellano stands backstage in his dress uniform. Every brass button is polished. Every crease is perfect. His wife straightened his tie this morning, kissed his cheek, told him she was proud. His daughter texted a heart emoji. He's 45 years old, about to receive the highest honor the department can give. He should feel triumphant. Instead, unease hums low in his chest. The Williams girl is still out there. The angels are still protecting her. The preacher is still alive. Variables he hasn't eliminated. But today is his day. Tomorrow he'll finish what he started. The ceremony begins at 2 p.m. sharp. The police chief takes the podium, begins the introduction. Castellano's record is impressive even without the lies. 16 years on the force, 42 arrests. 3 officer-involved shootings, all ruled justified. Leader of the special task force that dismantled drug operations and a trafficking ring. The crowd applauds, cameras flash. And now, please welcome Lieutenant Owen Castellano. He walks on stage, shakes the chief's hand, stands at the podium. The medal is heavy and cold against his chest. Thank you, he begins. This honor belongs not to me, but to every officer who puts on the uniform each day, who walks into danger so others can walk in safety. We are the thin blue line between chaos and order. We are... Outside, the sound begins, low at first, a rumble, then louder, deeper. The unmistakable roar of 30 motorcycles. The building vibrates. People turn toward windows. The roar grows, fills the street, drowns Castellano's voice. Then, abruptly, silence. 30 engines cut at once. The silence is louder than the noise. Castellano stops mid-sentence. His mouth goes dry. The auditorium doors open. 30 Hell's Angels walk in. Full colors. Leather vests with patches that announce their club, their rank, their defiance. They move in formation, disciplined, silent. Security moves to intercept, but Reaper raises his hands, shows they're empty. We're not here to threaten anyone. We're here to present evidence of police corruption. We have a constitutional right to address public officials in a public forum. Attorney Jamal Richards steps forward in his gray suit. I'm their legal counsel. My clients are exercising First Amendment rights. Any attempt to remove them will be recorded and challenged. The chief of police stands uncertain. Cameras are rolling. This is live. Removing them by force will look like suppression. You have 2 minutes, the chief says. We'll need 5. Between the wall of bikers, a small figure emerges. Zara Williams, 10 years old, wearing a white dress her mother pressed this morning. She looks impossibly small walking down the center aisle. Keisha walks beside her, one hand on her daughter's shoulder. The room goes silent. A child? Zara reaches the front, climbs the steps to the stage, stands at the podium. She has to rise on her toes to reach the microphone. Castellano stares at her. His face drains of color. Zara pulls a laptop from a bag Keisha hands her. Richards connects it to the building's projection system. The screen behind Castellano flickers to life. My name is Zara Williams. I'm 10 years old. 3 weeks ago, I saved 30 people from dying. I'm going to show you how. And I'm going to show you who tried to kill them. She clicks a button. The video plays on the massive screen. Dark parking lot, white van, 4 men exiting, tools, wires, crawling under motorcycles. The video zooms, shakes, but it's clear. One man's jacket rides up. The badge on his belt catches streetlight, gleams like evidence. The video freezes on that frame. The badge, the face. Officer Marcus Trent. This man and 3 others planted military explosives under 30 motorcycles. If those bikes had started, everyone would have died. I warned them. I showed this video to the FBI. My phone disappeared from evidence the next day. Officer Trent signed it out. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Reporters type frantically. Cameras zoom on Trent's frozen face. But that's not all, Zara says. She clicks again. Body cam footage begins. Jerky, first-person perspective. Running. A teenager, black, hands raised, yelling. Castellano's voice, unmistakable, off-screen. Take the shot! Gunfire. The teenager falls. Officers approach. One kneels, pulls a gun from a bag, places it beside the body. The timestamp is visible. Badge numbers visible. The face of the dead boy is visible. Jamal Brooks, 16 years old, unarmed. The auditorium erupts, shouts, gasps. The mayor stands, face red. The chief grabs for a phone. Castellano tries to leave. Reaper steps into his path, doesn't touch him, just stands there. A wall. You're going to stay. You're going to answer for this. From the audience, a woman stands. Nia Brooks, 38, black, wearing a black dress, face carved from grief. She walks to the stage, climbs the steps, stands beside Zara. That was my son, Jamal Brooks. He was 16. He wanted to be an engineer. He had a scholarship. You killed him and you lied. Detective Sarah Huang stands in the back. She walks forward, pulls out her badge, holds it up. I'm Detective Sarah Huang, CPD. I can corroborate this evidence. I witnessed tampering in the Williams case. I have documentation. I'm willing to testify under oath. Federal agents in dark suits move through the side doors. FBI. They approach Castellano. Lieutenant Owen Castellano, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, obstruction of justice, evidence tampering, and violations of civil rights under color of law. Castellano's hands are cuffed behind his back. The metal on his chest catches the light one last time before he's led off stage. The cameras capture everything. His face, his fall, the little girl who brought him down. Reporters swarm, questions fly. Richards steps to the microphone. Copies of this evidence have been uploaded to every major news outlet and social media platform as of 2 p.m. today. This is not an isolated incident. This is a pattern of corruption. We demand a full federal investigation into the Special Task Force and everyone connected to it. The police chief tries to speak, but the room is chaos. Reaper puts his hand on Zara's shoulder. You did good, kid. She looks up at him. Is it over? The hard part is. Outside, as Castellano is loaded into a federal vehicle, he looks back at the building, at the little girl standing on the steps between a biker and her mother, the girl he tried to erase. She's not invisible anymore, and neither is his guilt. Across the city, in living rooms and offices and coffee shops, people watch the footage. The bombing video, the execution. The 10-year-old girl who stood up and said enough. By evening, it's the top story on every network. By midnight, it's viral. Hashtags trend. Politicians issue statements. The Department of Justice announces an investigation. In a small apartment in South Racine, Keisha holds her daughter and cries. Not from fear, From relief. You were so brave, baby. I was scared, Mama. Brave doesn't mean not scared. Brave means scared and doing it anyway. 48 hours after the press conference, Lieutenant Owen Castellano and 4 members of his task force are formally indicted by a federal grand jury. The charges are extensive: conspiracy to commit murder, obstruction of justice, deprivation of rights under color of law, evidence tampering, and the wrongful death of Jamal Brooks. The mayor holds a press conference, apologizes to the Brooks family, announces a complete overhaul of the Special Task Force oversight protocols. Keisha Williams receives a call from the Cook County State's Attorney. All charges against her are dropped. The arrest record is expunged. Furthermore, she's awarded a settlement of $25,000 for wrongful arrest and harassment. She cries when she hangs up. Zara hugs her, small arms wrapped tight around her mother's waist. We're going to be okay, Mama. Yeah, baby, we are. The CPS case is closed. Diana Ross delivers the news personally, sitting in their apartment one last time. I'm sorry for what you went through. The system failed you, but you have an incredible daughter. Keisha nods. I know. 2 weeks later, Zara receives a letter. The Lincoln Magnet School Scholarship Committee has not only reinstated her application but expedited it. She's been accepted for the spring semester, full scholarship, advanced placement classes, a chance, Ms. Lane presents the letter in front of the whole class. The students applaud. Zara's face burns with embarrassment and pride. That night, Keisha uses part of the settlement as a down payment on a 2-bedroom apartment in a better neighborhood. Not perfect, but safer. The apartment has working heat, no roaches, and a window in Zara's room that looks out on a small park. Zara stands in her new bedroom, empty except for her backpack and a sleeping bag. Keisha watches from the doorway. You okay, baby? It feels too good to be real. It's real. We earned this. The Hells Angels throw a quiet celebration at the clubhouse. Reaper presents Zara with a gift, a leather-bound journal, her initials embossed in gold. For writing down what matters, like you did for us. Zara opens it. On the first page, in Reaper's handwriting, we were dead men until you saved us. Now we're your debt. Forever. She looks up at him, eyes shining. Thank you for believing in me. Reaper crouches to her level. No, thank you. You reminded us what we're supposed to be, protectors of anyone who needs it. That's an honor. Tommy approaches with an envelope. From the crew, college fund. We're adding to it every year until you graduate. Inside, a check for $10,000. Keisha gasps. We can't. You can, Preacher says. That girl is going to change the world. We're just making sure she gets the chance. Across town, Nia Brooks kneels at her son's grave, fresh flowers in her hands. Jamal would have been 17 next month. She touches the headstone. They got him, baby. The man who killed you is going to prison. It won't bring you back. But people will remember you now, not as a statistic, as my son. She stays until sunset. Today, for the first time, she feels something other than rage and grief. She feels peace. 1 year later, Zara Williams stands on a stage in Washington, D.C. She's 11 now, taller, more confident. She's been invited to speak at the National Youth Leadership Conference, her story a case study in courage and civic engagement. A year ago, I saw something terrible, she says into the microphone. Her voice is steady, clear. I could have stayed silent, but my mama taught me that if you can help, you do, even if it's scary, especially if it's scary, because silence protects the powerful. Truth protects everyone. The audience of 2,000 students and educators rises in standing ovation. Back in Chicago, a mural covers the side of a building on South Racine. Zara standing between motorcycles, arms spread wide, the words painted above her. Courage has no size. Neighborhood kids gather to see it daily. It's become a landmark. Illinois passes Jamal's law, mandatory independent body cam review for all officer-involved shootings. Nia Brooks and Zara attend the signing. The governor thanks them publicly. In a small classroom at Lincoln Magnet School, Zara sits in advanced mathematics. She's thriving. At lunch, she opens her journal, writes, "Maybe bravery isn't about being fearless. Maybe it's about being afraid and doing it anyway." She closes the book, smiles. Across town, Reaper sits on his motorcycle outside her school, engine idling, just watching, making sure she's safe. He'll keep watching. That's what family does. And Zara Williams? She's just getting started. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe to Black Tales Stories for more stories of courage and justice, and tell us in the comments, what would you do if you witnessed something wrong? Your voice matters. Use it.